You know, I want to get to New York City. The family of a 1-year-old little boy who was fatally shot during a Brooklyn cookout on Sunday is now pleading for answers. And they're also sharing a powerful message with those who they feel are responsible. Watch.
He took my son's life. I can't get that back. I can't hold him no more. I can't hear him calling me daddy no more. I can't kiss him no more. I can't play with him no more. I can't do nothing with him no more.
For the cowards that did this, you should be ashamed of yourself, because everybody talk about Black Lives Matter. What about baby lives? You can go to hell.
You know, Melissa, you asked me on the program yesterday which Black Lives Matter. This is more than just a layering now. It's a drumbeat. We saw the mayor of Atlanta asking, you know, why are we doing this to each other? You saw the grandfather of that little girl who died weekend before last, 8-year-old Sequoia Turner, asking some of these same questions. You know, I come back to you on this issue because you and I, day in and day out, talk about this. These are lives. These are people getting killed. And if you wipe away race and you wipe away skin color, they have the same things in common with each other and all of us around the country. We love our little ones. We love the people with us. How do we get here, and how do we get out of it?
Yeah, they have the same thing in common, and that's a grieving family that's been left behind without their loved one. And I would respectfully disagree with one of my colleagues, Juan Williams, and something he said yesterday about how this is being represented as an explosion of crime across the city, and that that's not accurate. And in fact, it is accurate. My home police precinct is the 19th precinct. They are wonderful. Crime is up in this neighborhood. It is the Upper East Side. This is an affluent neighborhood. It is all over the city. As I've said on this show, I have a neighbor on the next block who was held up at gunpoint in his store. He was tied with hand ties and left. And he also on the Upper West Side, David Asman, another of our colleagues, was saying in his neighborhood, an older woman was held up at knife point. It is an explosion all over the city. The local precincts can see that, and you can look online and get that data. And I look at it every day, and it is ticking up in every neighborhood. Yes, it is worse in the low-income neighborhoods. Yes, the working population, the working poor, they are suffering so much more than the rest of us. But it is exploding all over the city everywhere.
It is pervasive, as you say. Ben, I want to hear your voice on all of this, get your reaction.
Well, I think we have to recognize that in the view of our politicians, our leaders, and the media, these lives are not equally valuable. The life of this young child who will never see his second birthday is less valuable from their perspective than the life of some kid who gets killed in Park Slope. That's just the way that they treat these stories, because what happened in this case is somehow deemed normal or expected or acceptable. A loss of life that matters less or is less important, less something that we should be outraged about. But the truth is we should be just as outraged about it. This is unacceptable. And the way that the leaders of this great city that has a police force that, again, does an incredible job, is the envy of the world, goes around the world to teach other forces how to do their job, and frankly has not engaged in the kind of behavior that the critics of the police, hold up all the time and describe, certainly not in recent years. The fact that they've been pulled back and that it's the poorest among us who suffer the most, it's just unacceptable. It's heinous, and people should be outraged about it.
You know, as you started your comments, Ben, you know that makes waves. When you talk that transparently and that raw, before we go to a commercial, I want to get Leslie Marshall's reaction to all of that. It's a conversation that we have to have. Leslie?
Oh, I agree. And I agree a lot of what we just heard. Look, I buried a child in 2004. It's a hole in my heart that will never heal. And I have such empathy and sympathy for this family, or any family that loses a child. Nobody should outlive their child. But, Ben is right, quite frankly, with regard to, and that's what people are protesting about, is that racial injustice, is why when there's a pretty blonde white girl with beautiful blue eyes abducted, we see her on People magazine and everywhere else, and we don't see that when it's a child of color from a poorer community. This 1-year-old's life should not have been taken. No child's life should be taken by this heinous violence, and I certainly hope that those responsible are caught and are punished as they should be.
All right. We will move on